T minus 90 seconds. T minus 80 seconds. T minus 70 seconds. T minus 60 seconds. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 15 seconds.
Hello, Outposters, and welcome back to another fabulous, incredible, amazing live stream of Outpost Frequencies, where half of us don't show up. That's right. And the other half of us are not prepared and didn't do anything, and we wish we were dead. So, Sean, how are you doing, sir?
I'm excited to be here.
I can tell. Bathed in blood again. That's wonderful. Yeah. Boba is still hung up with just real life work stuff. I think he works at a Home Depot. He's selling lots of kitchens for some reason in January.
Yeah.
And Matt is dead. So
rest in peace, Matt.
Rest in peace. We mourn him. He is face down in a toilet as we speak. So I think he wants to go out like Elvis. I think that's the plan.
He wants to go out the way he came into the world.
That's okay. His mom had him in a gas station toilet. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I was implying.
Hey, we all have a past.
Yeah.
No, Matt is ill and Boba's working, but hopefully we'll be back up at full strength here in a few weeks.
I will not be here next week. I should say that right off the bat.
That's why I hedged my bets there. With a few weeks.
Yeah.
Very open-ended there.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably a good time anyway, because we're in the middle of FU. It's January. And I can tell you right now, the big story right now is that Avatar has just broken $2 billion at global box office, and I'm beginning to feel like I am legend. You know, when I'm the only normal person left and everybody else is a soulless vampire, then you are the monster. And I'm beginning to think that that's where I'm at now. What is wrong with you people? This movie sucked ass. I don't understand.
I don't even hear normies talking about it. Right?
I don't hear anybody talking about it.
It's almost like I forgot that it was even out there. How it's hitting that much, I don't know, because nobody's talking about it.
Well, it's because there ain't shit out. But I mean, I guess there isn't anything out as far as big budget blockbuster. But the one movie I did see that's come out in January is Megan. and people are talking about Megan. Whether I mean, I can't say that it was amazing or anything. It was just dumb fun, which there's nothing wrong with that. You know,
Nope,
it,
not
it
at all.
knows what it is. It absolutely knows what it is, and it's not trying to make some
Megan,
statement about artificial intelligence or anything. It's just trying to be a weirdo with a little bit of a interesting visuals to it. And when you
yeah.
have the weird doll dancing in the hallway and everybody memes it, and then everybody's got to go see the movie and you're making your money back, well done. You've done your job.
Is that a Blumhouse production?
I believe so.
Yeah, it seems to be. Like it's got Blumhouse written all over it to me. But I could be wrong.
I do wish they would film these a little less. I don't know how to explain it, but the director of photography films these so dreary and so serious looking.
Yeah.
And everybody comes across like they're so serious. And I'm like, this is not a serious movie. You know,
Yeah.
enjoy yourselves a little bit. You know, put a little bit more pop into the visuals, I think.
I hate that. I hate that washed out monochrome look of everything anymore.
Yeah,
You know?
maybe that's what it is. I'm not impressed with that, but there are some fun visuals in it. I mean, she takes one of those hedge trimmers to make its face, and it cuts her all up, and it's, you know, I mean, my problem with it, and you know, you and I were talking about it in the pre-show, but my problem with it is that I'm too much of a Star Trek sci-fi fan, so the idea of artificial intelligence coming to life, there's a lot of different ways that you would expect it to come to life and see it come to life. And it wouldn't come like a mean girl that's been around the block a few times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the way she responds to things. But if you turn off your brain for that part of it and you just say, I just want to see killer robot doll flip out and do crazy things, and you know,
It is
satisfies that.
It is Blumhouse, by the way. I looked.
I thought it was. Yeah.
I mean, it's
saw
got
that in
all the
credits.
that I really. I've almost come to think of Blumhouse as like our current version of Canon films in a way.
In some ways, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
in
just a
some
little
way.
too self-serious sometimes. Canon was
Yeah.
just like, they embraced the lunacy. They did not give a fuck.
Yeah.
And they made a lot of cheap pictures, and they knew they were cheap pictures, and they embraced the cheapness, which made them kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And here they're trying to look like a much more expensive film and much better than what they are. It's like it's a fucking robot doll trying to kill people. Why you got to be so self-serious about
How
this,
did
you know?
so on that theme? How did you like Upgrade? Another Blumhouse that
I
I
actually-
personally thought was a very good movie.
Yeah, I actually quite liked Upgrade. Upgrade was trying to be a sci-fi movie, and it wasn't comedic.
Right.
And the tone and the look worked much better
Yes.
for that movie. What I thought that this was like Megan could be this generation's Chucky.
Yeah.
And what I find funny is that Chucky was a doll, and this would have worked better for the way Megan acted, but Chucky was a doll that got possessed by a serial killer, right? Just before
Yeah.
he died, he put his soul into Chucky, and then that was the thing.
As it
when
happened.
they
You know,
re-
that old chestnut.
As you do.
Yeah.
I've heard it once. I've heard it 1,000 times. You got to keep these guys away from the Chucky dolls. But they remade Chucky, what, 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. I think Mark Hamill did the voice.
Was
But
it that
in that
long
one-
ago? Was it already that long ago?
It's been a while. I think it was
man.
pre-pandemic.
Oh God.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
you're right. You're right. I mean, a lot's kind of happened since then. You know?
yeah. I don't know if you've been reading the papers, but
Yeah.
yeah, the problem with the Chucky is that they went away from the supernatural elements and they made it an AI gone amok. And it didn't work. I mean, it got panned and it didn't work because it didn't really embrace the silly side of Chucky enough. They were trying to get back to the horror elements, but it's the silly side of Chucky that makes him so memorable.
Yeah.
And in Megan, it is an AI that's gone amok, but it might as well have been. It felt more like they had put an actual person into Megan, and she's just a murderous psychopath,
Yeah.
rather than an AI trying to figure out and malfunctioning or something.
You know what? It reminds me of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, where they's just like, "Oh, here's your problem," and he flips the switch from evil to good.
Hey, here's your problem. You got this set to evil. There you
Yeah.
go. I'll cook breakfast for you.
Yeah. Back when it was still good,
Yeah, that is a classic. But yeah, I mean, there's some problems with Megan. There's some things they could have done to make it better, I think. But for a dumb, fun movie that you just want to be entertained, and you're in and out. I mean, it's like it's a $1.42. It's not long. So you're in and out in just over 90 minutes, and so it doesn't overstay its welcome. And like the CEO, he's a complete douchebag, and you wonder how he ever got to be CEO and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. Corporate Dick Jones.
Yeah, but I mean, like in RoboCop that works, and in this one, it's like you're not. You're just too sad for me to hate. But there you go. I mean, you can't have somebody that incompetent in real life. And then you find out. I don't know if you've been watching the news with the Nancy Pelosi or the Paul Pelosi,
the hammer time.
Yeah, the chest cam video or whatever they call it. And he gets hit by a hammer. He's all drunk and everything. He's calling. And then the weirdest thing, because that isn't the weirdest thing, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
The weirdest thing is that Nancy Pelosi has a fucking exorcism seance with witches. Do you remember back in like 2010, 2011 when the Tea Party, that's what they called the MAGA back then, the Tea Party. And you had this one girl, and I can't remember her name, but she was running for Congress. And like when she was in college or something, she was a Wiccan and she grew out of it. Like y'all go through stupid phases. But she had to come on. She says, "I'm not a witch." She had to do like a campaign commercial on this, which really just came across like, "I'm not a witch." It's like, oh, I believe you. Like the guy that says, "I'm Honest Joe's used cars." Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, you're obviously a witch. But I mean, she wasn't. And everybody knew that, yes, having somebody who believed in that nonsense in Congress would probably not be the kind of person you want in Congress. And yet, the Speaker of the House for the last 20 years on and off is casting spells and having exorcisms. She's fucking 80. This girl was like in her 20s when she's young and stupid. You're 80. Why do you keep voting for these people?
The funny thing about that, too, is Nancy claims to be like a devoted Catholic. And all that would be like big time heresy, It's the way the ruling class, their beliefs and
they're psychotic lunatic children.
They are.
And you keep voting for them or just keep sucking the corporate dick like these people know anything. They're morons. Well, better than a Republican. No, it's not. Shut up. I'm just watching this going, this is more entertaining than any movie that's coming out right now.
Oh, we're veering off here. We should.
I know. I just like, I kept thinking of that. It's like, well, this guy wouldn't be that incompetent. And then you watch the news. It's like, yeah, maybe they would be.
Yeah,
oh,
probably.
God. So, yeah, I liked Megan. I recommend it. I don't go in there with like Oscar expectations or a classic for the ages or anything. But it's a fun new character that they could do something with later on. Because, she's saved her shit into the cloud. She'll come back.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, I think they even did something at the end and said, "Oh, yeah, she's coming." But they had sequel bait written all over it, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the character itself, I mean, just the juxtaposition and the creepiness. Like she could be kind of cute. Like you could see this being something that maybe kids would like, but it was her. I mean. I don't know why they decided that when they did the silicone mold that they set it to resting bitch face,
Mm.
but it's like you could have made it a smile or something like that was the default was kind of a pleasurable smile. No, it was resting bitch face.
They
It's
wa-
like if they saw this on a shelf, nobody would buy it.
looks looks just like one of those Japanese sex dolls.
It's so creepy. But hey, you know what? I was on board.
Yeah.
You know, if it could get through this crusty old man who's hates everything these days, then you did something.
Well, I'm glad
Uh,
I'm glad something warmed your heart.
Something warmed my heart.
Yeah.
This vicious murdering doll.
What's the body count?
Uh,
Does it have a high body count?
It does not. It has. Let's see. It does kill a kid though, which
Oh.
I did appreciate
That's
because it almost never
yeah.
kills kids.
Yeah,
Now the
that's-
kid was the most vicious, one-dimensional
course.
bully you could ever find.
Yeah.
He was the worst kid in the world. He got, in the very beginning, when you first meet him, the mother is talking to the protagonist, the aunt of the girl that she's taken in. That's the story. Her parents died, and she takes in the girl that she uses Megan to try to connect with the girl, and everything goes wrong. But she takes the girl to this school outing or something like that, and the boy is there, and she's talking with the mother of the boy, and she's like, yes, they're so precious at this age, good luck, Billy. And Billy looks at her and goes, fuck off, Mom. I'm like going, whoa. And I was like going, oh, he's dead. Yeah.
How
They,
old-
didn't even pull any punches.
Are these high school age kids in the movie?
They're preteen,
Okay.
like 10, you know.
Okay.
But
That's
I mean, I
pretty-
was like, they didn't even bother to like the kid wasn't trying to pull one over. Like he
Yeah.
had like maybe one other dimension. No, he's just a prick. It's like,
I'm
okay, he's dead.
I'm surprised there wasn't a scene where he goes off and kicks a puppy or something.
No, but he does, he gets on top of May and starts beating the shit out of her while she's kind of inert until she's had enough and then just murders him. Or first she pulls his ear off, which is pretty hilarious. And then he ends up running away from her. And, they kind of went into that where when the robot is doing things because can bend a certain ways, maybe she's damaged or maybe she's running weird, that you get kind of that possessed girl crap instead of more robot crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I if they were going to make her possessed, just make her possessed. But if you're going to do AI, then make it more sci-fi robot shit. So that's just me. But again, I don't want to downgrade the movie too much. It was fun. I had fun. That's all I ask.
Good enough.
So before we get into Oscars, one of the Oscar nominations is Triangle of Sadness, which I saw this weekend.
Is it an isosceles triangle of sadness or?
Maybe. The Triangle of Sadness is this little triangle here in between your two eyebrows. That's what they say.
Oh,
So it's like, can you lighten up your triangle? Because when you're scowling, it makes the Triangle of Sadness or something.
okay.
It's everybody's talking a lot about this movie. I did, for the most part, enjoy it, but it seems to be like making fun of the weirdo rich who think they're kind of above it all because they eat weird things or they do weird things or they make lower people do weird things and all that kind of stuff. And the ostentatiousness of it all, but when you film it like a pretentious asshole douchebag, you know what I mean? Like it
Yep.
feels so pretentious. It's like, how are you any different
Yeah.
to a certain extent? And then what happens is that you got these two people. One of them's a male model, and he's dating a female model who's an Instagram influencer, and they have this little thing at the beginning where they're talking about how she manipulates to get what she wants, and he doesn't mind paying for the food, but when she says she's going to pay for the food and then plays games like he's going to pay for the food, it's this weird argument. It just feels very I mean, to me, it's like, why can't you guys just be honest with each other and just, be done with it? But no, we got to be all manipulative and surface level and, petty. And so and that was part of the problem with this movie. There's not very many, there's almost no likable people in it, which doesn't help. So then they get invited onto this luxury cruise ship, and it's not like a Carnival cruise line. It's like one of those mid-sized ships for those super uber rich.
Oh yeah.
And they get onto it free because they have enough clout that they can, show off the ship and, get a lot of influence that way. And then they got all these weird people on there. Some of them are just like there's this old German couple who got rich making weapons, and mostly grenades, right?
Yeah.
And the captain is played by Woody Harrelson. He's drunk most of the time, and he doesn't mingle with the passengers, but he's obligated to do at least a captain's dinner. So he decides to do the captain's dinner on the night that there's going to be somewhat of a storm and everything's moving around. And one of the rich women, she thinks she's trying to be nice to the underlings, so she tries to get them to swim and have a good time. So she asks all the underlings to come up and slide down the slide and have a swim because she's being nice. She thinks she's being nice. Really, she's just getting in their way. And all the cooks go, and if they, by the time they get back, some of the food has gone bad. So then you get to the night of the captain's dinner. Everything's moving around. Everything's a mess. And the waves are hitting, and they're trying to serve the meal, and half the food's gone bad, and people are seasick, and it just becomes a nightmare of diarrhea and throw up. And the sewage system in the boat can't handle it. The toilets overflow, and there's shit all over the floors, and it's just awful. And then the next day, pirates come after the ship, like Somali pirates or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the funniest moment in there is when they toss a grenade on the ship, and it goes right in front of that couple, and she picks up the grenade. She goes, "Isn't this one of ours?" Boom.
Oh.
That made me laugh out loud. So then they end up on what they think is a deserted island, and there are a bunch of rich people, or in the case of the influencers, just no discernible life skills. They don't know what to do, and they're just kind of getting by as best they can. And then this woman who is one of the maids, she's like a Hispanic maid, and she is able to. She has some life skills. She knows how to make a fire. She knows how to cook fish. She knows how to catch fish. She knows how to do things. And so immediately the power goes to her head. She begins running the island like a Lord of the Flies thing. So if it's against the rich, if he's trying to say the rich are ostentatious or whatever, I think he's trying to say it doesn't matter the circumstances because it's all relative. The amount of wealth you have is all relative. If you're on a desert island, then having a bunch of extra fish makes you extraordinarily wealthy, in which case you could be a complete asshole, even though you were the person that was, mopping up floors just a couple of nights ago, right?
Yeah.
So I guess he's saying anybody who gets power and wealth will turn into a complete utter asshole. So I guess nobody should have anything more than anybody else. I don't know if that's some sort of communist thing.
Yeah, it sounds like commie shit to me, yeah.
And then there's something about gender roles because the male model is kind of cucked by his wife, but then he ends up doing sexual favors for the Spanish maid so that he could get extra fish for him and his girlfriend. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't. It's all over the place, and everybody was talking about like it's so amazing. I'm like going, I don't know. I don't think it's
you know why? Because it's one of those movies that's actually kind of, not subtle, not nuanced, but it's got enough of all the things that make all the pseudo intellectuals light up. So they're like, oh, it's so sophisticated. It really has something to say.
I was like, what does it have to say? Everybody's an asshole if they have more than somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, thanks. We all know. We've heard this before. Yeah, we do.
It's like I mean, this guy is probably in the Hollywood bubble, the Hollywood media bubble and probably is hobnob with more than enough rich people. So probably in his world, everybody is like that. And from what I've seen for the last couple of 3-5 years or more, everybody at that level does seem to be like that. They're holding seances or exorcisms while they're eating their $20,000 worth of ice cream or bullshit. You know, I mean, they're awful people. So, but if that's the only people you know and you don't want to, and you think anybody that doesn't agree with you is like worse or something, it's like it just feels like projection. I guess that the whole movie felt like projection to me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's put together nice, but.
That's kind of Hollywood's two-note thing about that sort of society, right? It's either everybody that's not rich and lives in Manhattan is a peon, or everybody, you know, that's not rich is better, and everybody that even has a middle-class house is somehow an evil racist. That's all they got. That's all
we do is we work all day and just fucking pay our taxes and get shit out by everybody else. But whatever. Yeah. I'm looking at it going, okay, first of all, it has that really annoying style. This wasn't as bad as some of these indie pretentious movies I've seen, but it's that really annoying style of scene. It's not like transitions. There's not a flow to it. It's just one scene, then the next scene, then the next moment, then the next moment, next moment. You know, that really hard swap between moments. It isn't as bad as some others I've seen where it's just random moment to random moment. You're trying to follow what's going on and there's no flow to it. I mean, I'll give a Hollywood blockbuster in an MCU movie. At least there's a flow to it. At least I never feel like I'm lost trying to figure out what's this next scene or why did we just switch over to this character here out of nowhere. This one isn't as bad as those, but it's just an annoying thing that I think is a stand-in for being having something to say. I just feel like it's just a pretentious way of editing, and I don't like it. Obviously, it's going to win Best Picture all the way around.
You think so? For real?
Yeah, because it sucks, and that's what they vote for now. Is the things that
true.
Suck, or they perceive as saying something.
Yeah, important. Something deep. Yeah, something about the human condition right there.
I mean, my wish is for everything, everywhere, all at once, but you know that's me.
It probably will. I think it will.
I hope so. I think it actually deserves it. And I can understand why it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I feel like it at least did some amazing things. And it does have a lot of depth and layers to it, the more you watch it. But
I don't know.
I can understand why people don't. I can understand it. It's not. I know. It certainly isn't. I mean, this is just, everybody sucks. Okay.
You know, I think part of it is that I thought it was going to be a slightly different than what it was. Like I was expecting something different, and when it was not what I thought it was going to be. And then it also, I didn't think it was like that original, but those two things together really soured me on it. Maybe I need to like rethink my stance on that. But
I think what I liked most about it is the juxtaposition of the ordinary, the banal, with the extraordinary, and that it's the ordinary and banal that makes the life worth living, not these big epic moments. I mean, that's what I kind of liked about it, because we watch these big epic movies, world ending, and it's like, yeah, those things are important, but it's also the small moments that are just important for an individual person's life. Just making those connections between a mother and a daughter is the most important thing in their life. And why should that be? If they can't make it work, that's the end of their world. And so I kind of liked that idea. And it's just it had a lot to say, and it did it very well. And the fact that doing as much as they did, that it wasn't a complete and utter clusterfuck, is pretty amazing. So
it just seemed like internet meme the movie to me. Oh, look at the random! Look how random! Look how random!
I think that's a lot in the first half, but when they get to the second half,
you know what I'm saying.
I get it. I think it's more than that, and I appreciate that.
I still think the hero of the movie was Short Round, though. I really did.
Absolutely, he was definitely the best person in the movie. And the women are the ones that had to get their shit together.
Oh, both the daughter and the mom both are awful.
Yeah, but they overcome that and they become better by the end. Even Jamie Lee Curtis becomes a better person by the end. And I like that. It's like, oh, the only person that's good in there is the dad? What a breath of fresh air.
I know, usually that's yeah.
You got to give it that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they did not make the women in there look like decent people. But they became decent people. They overcame it. They learned. They grew. I'm fine with that. But I mean, I like that it wasn't the default of like, but the husband is a piece of shit. It was worthless. No,
Yeah.
he was the only good person in the whole thing, and he was the one that brought her back. You know, that inspired her. I was like, going, what a nice. Hey, Ke-Huy Quan, you deserve the Golden Globe. You absolutely deserved it. So. But Triangle of Sadness, I was not impressed with.
Did he win an award for that?
He won the Gold Globe for Best Supporting Actor.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Who knew that short round slash what's his name from the Goon? What's he covered?
The Goonies. Cassette? No. What?
No.
Fuck, is that terrible?
Cassette. That's racist.
No. Japanese make all the good electronics. That's not racist. That's a compliment.
He's not even Japanese. That was racist.
He's not Japanese? I thought he was.
No. Does that name sound like a Japanese name to you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you are racist.
it's a lot of weird syllable sounds. I have no idea. Data. He was Data.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't that far off.
No,
in 1985, you saved all your programs on your computer on a cassette tape. So
you were right. That was a super nerd. You know, only a nerd would know that. But you're right.
I'm old.
Yeah.
All right. So you put up an article today on Oscars So White. Let me bring it up here. I will share it for everyone to see, so everybody can see what a extraordinarily racist prick you are.
They already know that.
All right, so our Oscars still so white, with all the woke drivel and virtue signaling that we are forced to suffer. It was very amusing to see a new article from Zero Hedge reporting on the status of black representation in Oscar nominations. Zero Hedge is not a woke site, so enjoy. Now, did you just lift and shift, or is this your...
I did. No. Okay. I didn't. Only thing that I wrote was that little intro paragraph. The rest of it's from Zero Hedge.
Okay, so I better change it to quotes. Michelle Yeoh was nominated for an Academy Award in her lead role in the independent flick Everything Everywhere All at Once. The Malaysian Chinese actress is the first woman of Asian descent to be nominated for Best Actress category, when disregarding Natalie Portman, who has U.S. and Israeli citizenship. Israel is in Asia.
I know. I thought that was an odd... I mean...
It's technically Asia, I guess.
Isn't West? Yeah, West Asia or something like that. They call it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be. It could be Far Eastern European, I suppose. I don't know. Is Mediterranean a continent? No.
This isn't school.
However,
Knock it off. This isn't school.
However, yeah, I wouldn't want you to learn anything in this. However, as Statista's Florian Zant reports, while Milestone has received widespread coverage, there's also been voices criticizing the lack of black Best Actress nominees this year, showing that 8 years after the hashtag Oscars So White, the discussion about diversity in the Academy Awards is still ongoing. It's like, how many movies have black actors and actresses in them?
Every one of them do. It really.
Well,
I don't mean
that are Oscar worthy. Let's say.
Yeah, I don't even mean the forced diversity. I just mean there is, but I think what they want is like, the all black actor movie. They all want. You know what I mean? It's like
I don't know what they want. Honestly, I don't know what they want because they're certainly not going to change. I mean, what are you going to do with Avatar? What are you going to do with Marvel movies where most of the characters created were back in the 50s and 60s when, we were a predominantly white country and it's just the way it was.
Yeah.
I'm fine that they made Black Panther and the Black Panther movies, but not the way they did them. I honestly would have liked to have seen a very good Black Panther movie because there's some very good Black Panther stories out there. And I would have absolutely said, it's like if you put forced white people in there, I'd be like, yeah, why are they in there? It doesn't make any sense. It's an African continent.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking at this in terms of authenticity, not diversity.
Yeah.
And they can't seem to understand the difference between them. And I don't know how to show this kind of thing. I mean, there's been some movies recently. I'm trying to remember which one I saw, but there was plenty of diversity in the movie that made no difference to me because it wasn't the thing that was important to the movie. They were just interesting characters that happened. The Expanse, I think, is one of those type of shows that does that. And there's some others. But then when you see something like Bridgerton, where it portrays like Victorian England.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing. There's like piles of black people there. It's like that wasn't the way it was. What are you doing? How am I supposed to enjoy this when it doesn't? I just can't get past the fact that this doesn't look authentic to me.
Yeah. It's like, what's the point? I don't understand. Like, what's the point of doing this other than to just do it and be like,
if I see a Godzilla movie, a Toho movie where Godzilla's destroying Tokyo, I want to see Japanese people running away from the giant lizard. Why?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing but Japanese people in Japan. That's the way it is. There's nothing wrong with the way it is. That's what I don't understand. Why is that wrong? Why is it bad? I don't understand it. So you got your nominations here. And 14 Oscar wins in Big Five categories with Black, Asian, or Latin American participants since 2016. I feel like the way they do this is like there's the default, which is white, and then everybody else, which is some sort of weird subhuman category. They pretend they're not being racist, but the way they portray everything just feels so icky to me. It does. It feels so gross. It's like you're projecting. They're projecting all their own racism onto us.
I don't know why they insist on doing that because I have plenty already. I don't need theirs.
Yeah, I know.
You know. Yeah, I don't know. It's so funny how they go. It really is that what is it? Expect the subtle racism of low expectations.
Yeah. The bigotry of low expectations.
Bigotry. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is some truth to that. It's like I don't understand why these people who are actors and actresses that their most important attribute is the way they were born, the one thing that they can do nothing about. It's like, isn't it more important that they are a good actor or actress?
No.
Why does
not anymore.
I didn't give two shits in The Matrix that Lawrence Fishburne was the captain of the ship. Why? Because Lawrence Fishburne is a kick-ass actor, and he had gravitas in that role.
Never even occurred to me to think about it.
No.
The same way as it never even occurred to me that the nominal hero of the original Night of the Living Dead is a black guy. You don't even think about it.
I look at these people and they make all these decisions based on nothing but race.
Sexuality.
Or sexuality. They do whoops, wrong one, sorry. They put all this they make all their decisions based on race, which is racism, period. Amen. And then whereas I didn't notice it before because it was a secondary, if at all, if it was a thing, it was not a thing that they paid attention to. It was more important to get the right actor in the right role. There was a time where I didn't care about the race because it never was germane to the story.
I mean, there was times that I care, like if it's from a well known previous existing IP and the person is very described as either black or white or whatever, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna make the movie. Oh, it. Oh, this white woman is now a black man. It's or they just
Right.
do,
Like if they're gonna do the Joe Montana story, I don't want to see the lady from Hidden Figures in it. You know? I mean, and that wouldn't make sense.
or
and
like
I understand that. Or vice
make
versa. If you're doing the Malcolm X story, I don't want to see Scarlett Johansson playing Malcolm X.
Ryan Gosling is the next
Actually,
Black
I kind of do now.
Yeah, now that you say that, I kind of.
Now that I say that out loud, it's like, well, wait a minute. No, I mean, seriously, it just wouldn't make any sense.
No, but they do that all the time now. But that's just, and it's almost like they rub your face in it just to. It's like they know it's going to be a bad movie. So what they do, they start audience baiting. I think is what's his face labeled it.
Well, they do it not because the thing that gets me so pissed off, and I've said this before, is not because I'm racist or that I care about the color of the actor. It's because you think I do.
Yeah.
And it's your own nasty bigotry on your own fucking race, or at least people that you don't know or you think you're above, that really pisses me off. I don't care about the race, but you have made it clear that you think I do. And it's obvious and it's stupid, and we see it every time you do it. And we don't. What do you expect us to do? And then when we react, say, "See, they were racist the whole time." It's like, because you fucking weighted the scale. You put your thumb on the scale.
Oh, that reminds me. I think I need to clear up something, a major mistake on the website. Stark posted that thing about the new Doctor Who and the new actor being a gay black man.
Yes.
And I said that he was getting confused. That was not Doctor Who. That was Dr. WHO. And it's going to be about it's going to be about
the World Health Organization.
Yeah, it's going to be about the World Health Organization trying to track down the originating point of the AIDS virus in Africa set in the 80s. I think he got really mixed up on that. So don't everybody get outraged. Yeah,
he's going to go back in time. He's going to go back in time and make crickets the main staple of food instead of cows.
Yeah.
So that we'll all be in the pods, eat the bugs, cut off our genitals,
Yeah, solve all of humanity's problems.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not a fan of that show, nor never cared. But I know like Dean and some of the British friends are. But I don't see them they don't seem to be reacting too well to this news of that. Speaking of that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, the Brits have unfortunately imported all our nonsense woke shit.
And they ramped it up.
Yeah.
I think
they wouldn't do that.
I think they actually have made it worse. And I wish I could say different, but I do think they've like took it and ran with it. Like they're on pace to outdo us, I think, at this point.
Well, I mean, the problem is their cognitive dissonance, and the biggest example I could give you is that you'll see John Cleese tweet, "London doesn't look like London anymore.
Yeah,
it's not hospitable for native Londoners." You say, "Yeah, that's because that's," and then he'll tweet something like. Some nonsense woke stuff about Trump or conservatives or something. It's like, well, you keep voting for the stuff that you're complaining about, or you're supporting the people that are doing the things that you're complaining about, but you don't see that. It's like I said. It's like, why do you keep voting for Nancy Pelosi? She's casting spell. Why do you think she's nuts? She's nuts. Why do you keep voting for it? There's so much of that going on right now, where people are just in this weird cognitive dissonance where they don't see, like, I mean, and again, I don't want to get too far off track, but I mean, how do you look at 5 black cops beating and killing a black man and say it's white supremacy when the mayor and the city council and the police chief and everybody else is black, but somehow it's white supremacy? I'm like going, you're stuck. You see what you want to see, and you can't bring it together in your mind what's actually going on. And it's the same with these movies. You keep doing all this forced diversity, pretending you're not racist when it's clearly racist.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sooner or later, reality is going to hit you like a freight train. It's going to happen. You can't be
Yeah.
this unserious this long because actual serious things are going to fall apart, and then you're gonna be forced to deal with your shit.
Yeah.
And acceleration, baby. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for it.
It's coming, to believe me.
All right, so let's just go on to the Oscars themselves, and then we'll wrap it up here. Oh, I need a drink. I'm talking like I like to hear my own voice, which is weird. Okay, so I will go through some of these and see. I'll just list them off, and then you pick yours and which one you think is stupid. All Quiet on the Western Front,
Does not
Avatar.
deserve. Yeah. Neither one
This
of
is
those
bad.
deserve. Neither one of those deserve an Oscar nomination for anything.
You didn't like All Quiet? I thought you did.
No, I was lukewarm on it. I think I gave it like a
Really?
3.5 out of 5 or something.
I could have swore you really liked that. Maybe it was Phil. I have not brought myself to watch it because that was one of those I had to watch the original for like a report in high school. It just feels like work. Avatar: The Way of Water, absolutely not. Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, British shit. Yeah, who cares?
You know, call me Chatmo. You know, the former network executive. He just tweeted on it. He says this movie sucked.
Yeah, I agree with him.
He did not like it. He basically said
yeah.
it was two guys that are arguing with each other. They're both unlikable, and he has no idea. Again, it sounds like one of those pretentious up your ass movies.
Very pretentious. I tried watching it and I was like, I don't get it.
Elvis. I honestly, I know Matt loved Elvis. I just did not. I mean, first of all, what was my joke in my year-end review? It's like Baz Luhrmann makes the 1 millionth Elvis biopic, earning him a all-expense shopping spree at Winn-Dixie in Atlanta. You know? It's like, how many more ways you gonna tell the Elvis story? And this is like done in this weird fairy tale, and it doesn't really dive too deep. I guess it's more about the Colonel and what a piece of shit he was, but it's like I'm kind of like you hired a carnival barker to be your to be your agent, and he fucked you. What a shock!
My mom loved it though.
I guess to me it just felt like more style than substance. A lot more.
Yeah. I couldn't. I got like 45 minutes into it and turned it off. So there's my decree on it.
Yeah. I mean, did you kind of get that feeling as well, though? I mean, Baz Luhrmann, I know he did Moulin Rouge and all that, and he's good at making. Like, I really liked Australia. I think I'm in the minority on that, but I actually liked Australia. But this one, I was like, I don't get it. Everything Everywhere All at Once, we discussed that. The Fablemans, people are talking up that movie, and I was like going, even Red Letter Media liked it. I was like going,
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it had that much to say. I'm sure it meant a lot to Spielberg. I could see why it would mean a lot to Spielberg, but I personally just couldn't connect to it.
Yeah, it's just so self-indulgent. I don't have any interest in something like that, especially giving an award for anything other than most self-indulgent movie of the year, maybe.
The only thing I could think of in the whole thing was like, this father really got shit on.
He did.
The husband of the father really got shit on.
Very big cuck.
Tar. I've not seen that yet, but I want to give it a try.
Haven't seen it.
Top Gun Maverick. Crowd pleasing.
Is this movie of the year or best picture we're talking about?
Best picture nominees. Yeah.
Man, I mean, it is. I mean, regardless of the quality of that movie, that's a stretch for that to be in what I would consider.
That's best picture because of when they score it, they like, story, characterization, emotion, all that. And then they box office receipts. And that really put it over the top.
I guess so.
I loved Top Gun Maverick. I mean,
I know you did.
You say, is it best picture? It's like, well, was it really good? Do I like watching it again? Could it be considered kind of a semi-classic through the years? Maybe.
I mean, is The Northman on the list for Best Picture?
Well, I think that was last year.
No, that was this. Oh, It was, wasn't it?
I was 21. Yeah.
Well, I thought no, that was this past year, 2022.
Nope. I'm
Yeah, it
pretty
has to.
sure it was.
Oh, you're no, I didn't watch it that long ago.
Well, it says 2022. You're
I
right.
told you, yeah. If
It's
that
only
is
got
not
a 2.6 rating.
that's a dog shit list, then that is a great movie.
89% of Rotten Tomatoes, but user reviews on Google are not great.
Who?
Well, it didn't do. It didn't. Yeah, it didn't make it on most of this. It looks like so. Man, it's not on this list. The last two are Triangle of Sadness, which we discussed, and then Women Talking, which I can't imagine
That's the winner.
on God's green earth I would want to go see a
Yeah.
movie about women talking.
That'll be the winner right there, though.
It's got enough of that in my own house.
That one or Everything Everywhere All at Once. If I was a betting man, though, and I may just bet on them again this year because I won a little money last year betting on them. Because all you have to do is pick the most wokest dog shit picks and you'll get it. But I don't know. I think it will be Women Talking, but I'm gonna hedge my bets and actually bet on Everywhere. I think.
It'd be funny that it's all split up between those, and so then Top Gun ends up taking. You can win a lot of money on the long shot bet.
They're not going to give an Oscar to a Tom Cruise airplane movie.
No, they're not.
You know,
but I would laugh myself sick.
I would
laugh myself into a pants sweating coma.
Yeah, they're not. They're going to give it to the women's movie. They're not going to give it to any. Yeah. What's next?
Actor in a leading role. So Austin Butler and Elvis. I will say Butler knocked it out of the park in portraying Elvis. I just don't think it was that great a movie. But as far as him portraying Elvis, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell and the Banshees of Inisherin. Brendan Fraser, The Whale.
I haven't seen that yet. I did not realize that even came out.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I don't know. Paul Mescal in After Sun. I don't know what that is.
Never even heard of it.
And Bill Nye in Living. Bill Nye, the science guy. Are we kidding? Is that? It can't be the same guy, can it?
That's probably, who knows.
If it is, if it really is him, I'm like, I give up. Oscars, you just committed seppuku.
Yeah.
Actress in the lead role, Kate Blanchett in Tar. I would not be surprised if she got that just because it's fucking Kate Blanchett. Anna de Armas in Blonde. Blonde was a dog shit movie.
Dog shit movie.
Andrea Riseborough to Leslie. Michelle Williams in The Fablemans. And Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
They'll give it to Yeoh.
I think they should. I mean, she had to do a lot of stuff in that movie.
Yeah, and she is a quality actress.
She is. She deserves
quality,
it, I think.
Yeah, she's a legit quality actress.
Best director, Martin McDonagh, Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg, The Fablemans, Todd Field, Tar, and Ruben Östlund, A Triangle of Sadness. I honestly could see it unless this is one of those years where Everything Everywhere All at Once gets all of it, like Titanic did.
Yeah,
I could honestly see something like Tar or Triangle of Sadness getting this.
Haven't seen either one of those, so I can't make a judgment call on that.
Like one of those, because they're kind of split up different things, so they give this one to this guy, this one to this guy, this one to how they do it.
Yeah.
Actor in a supporting role: Brendan Gleeson, Banshees of Inisherin. Brian Tyree Henry, Causeway. I don't
never
heard of that.
Me neither.
Judd Hirsch in The Fablemans. Judd Hirsch was in there for like 10 minutes. He came and he came, he stayed overnight, he did one scene and he was out.
Yeah.
I mean, best supporting, he was fine, but he was barely in the movie. I think he should have more screen time than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Unless you do something like amazing in those 10 minutes, you know what I mean?
Look, I like Judd Hirsch just fine, but he was Judd Hirsch. He was doing Judd Hirsch.
Yeah.
We're running. We don't know who else to grab. Barry Kyohin, Banshees of Inisherin, and Kehu Kwan, Everything Everywhere at All at Once. I'm just rooting for Short Round.
Me too. I hope he gets it. He deserves it for that movie.
Yep.
He legit deserves that.
Yeah. Actresses supporting role: Angela Bassett in Black Panther and Wakanda Forever.
That's who'll get it.
That's a diversity nomination, ain't it?
Yeah.
Come on, that movie was terrible. And she died 30 minutes into it too, I think. I don't know, I can't remember that movie. Hong Chow in The Whale, Carrie Condon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. No, I'm kidding. Everything Everywhere All at Once. And Stephanie Hsu, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No, that's who'll get it right there. I think that Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm calling it now. I think it'll sweep this year.
I hope it does. I really do. I mean, I honestly believe it was a quality movie, and it wasn't full of woke nonsense, and it was trying to do something really different. I think it succeeded. So yeah,
I think it had some woke.
For that reason alone, I would like it to win instead of something like Triangle of Sadness, which I thought,
yeah,
you know,
it had some woke.
Animated feature film: Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. You notice they had to say Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio as opposed to Walt Disney's Tom Hanks dog shit Pinocchio remake.
Yeah.
Don't want anybody to get confused there.
Yeah.
Puss in Boots.
That is a sleeper, apparently. I've seen a lot of word of mouth about that. Not that I'm ever going to watch it, but I'm seeing a lot of talk about it.
The Sea Beast. I have no idea what that is.
That is about my ex-wife.
Turning Red. Sea Beast. Took a few seconds for that to sink through the first 4 or 5 layers, but I got it. I'll skip documentary. International feature film: All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, Close, EO, and The Quiet One. I'm going to guess All Quiet's going to win that one.
I'm going to guess that too because it's the only one I know. It's the only one I heard of and seen. So,
writing: adapted screenplay: All Quiet on the Western Front.
No, that's a terrible.
Onion.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's a terrible adapted. If it's adaptation from the book, it's not close hardly at all. So, but I don't know.
I don't know. You seem to be on the minority on that one. People seem to be pretty impressed with it.
I mean, it's got a lot of good things, but it's also dour and.
Well, I think it's a point, you know.
Oh yeah, I guess Come
on, guys! It's World War I. It'll be fun. Don't you love living in trench shit? It's great.
Yoda, you're so naive. Of course it was fun. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had they made a sequel. They made a sequel,
yeah. They even brought back the villain from the last one.
and we're trying to make it a trilogy right now.
This time they're changing it up. They're moving the villain out there a little ways.
Yeah, know? Getting it bigger this time.
Yeah. It's like Guardians 3, you know, they're gonna go dark.
Yeah.
Living. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. That movie, from what I saw, it's a mystery because every character is stupid.
Isn't that a roundhead Ryan Johnson short?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I don't care about that shit.
Top Gun Maverick and Women Talking.
Women Talking, man. That's how they'll get it. Because they got
original screenplay. They got to give it to Whammon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to writing an original screenplay instead of adapted. Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. I hope Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, I think it wasn't I think it's going to sweep though. Mostly, they'll give it some token like women and black actress because that's their thing nowadays. But I don't know. It's kind of it could go either way because Everything Everywhere is an all Asian cast, and one of the characters is an Asian gay woman. So does that, you got to look at the scale of like inequality and victim class. It being black more of a victim, or being a gay woman Asian, which one outweighs the other in like
I
victim?
know the progressives, the victim stack, the pyramid.
Yeah,
It's difficult to see. People shifted all the time.
Yeah. See, they we recently had those 2 shootings in California of Asians, but the perpetrators were Asians themselves. So that they've lost a little of their stock by being the bad guys.
The only thing I know for certain is that I'm always at the bottom.
Yeah.
Cinematography: All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, Elvis, Empire Light, and Tar. I'm kind of disappointed that Top Gun didn't get in there. I mean, he fucking shot inside actual jets. I feel like that deserves something.
On that list, though, All Quiet does deserve that. That there is some good work on that one.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, Elvis was pretty to look at. I mean, it was good looking. It just wasn't that
gay.
Not Elvis the man.
Oh, the movie. Okay, yeah.
The movie. Elvis the man is just fucking hot in his youth.
He was pretty. He was a dreamboat.
He was. I tell you.
The early years, not so much the last few years. He looked like me. He looked almost as bad as me and you the last few years.
Hey, I tell you, he was in the 70s. He was twice the man he used to be.
Yeah.
Or at least twice the ass, from what I saw.
He weighed twice as much anyway.
Oh, jeez, that poor guy. He could have stayed off the drugs. Who knows? But aliens took him home. It's fine. Film editing: The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. I tell you, from an editing standpoint, you got to give it to Everything Everywhere All at Once, because there is so much shit going on, and the fact that that you're not lost, and that you're easily following it.
I agree with you there. That if hands down, it deserves that one.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I could say that from just an objective point of view.
These are like honest appraisals on this, not so much the judging by what's going to win by the woke equality. So from personal opinion, that should be the winner on that one.
And when usually things like editing and stuff, they usually go by less woke reasons. They actually do seem to, when they get the more technical stuff, they do that. It's only in the directing, screenplay, actor, actress, best picture they get really woke. But music, original score: All's Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, or The Fabelmans.
I don't know.
Scores these days suck.
Yeah, they're nothing to really even bother.
Honestly, I would probably give it to The Fabelmans, just because John Williams' score was good in it, and it's John Williams.
Yeah,
and he does themes. Nobody does fucking themes anymore. They just do musical atmosphere, walls of sound nonsense. It's like, write a goddamn theme that I can hum. Music, original song: Applause, Hold My Hand, Lift Me Up, Not To, This Is a Life. Just from titles alone, I'm going to go with Not To, because that just sounds awesome. I have no idea about any of these songs.
Yeah, I don't either. I can't make an informed comment on any of it.
No. Let's see. We're into production design: All Quiet, Avatar, Babylon, Elvis, The Fabelmans. Avatar should be disqualified.
Yeah, computer. That's not even.
It should be under animated feature.
Yeah. or at least have computer design, and then have everything else.
Yeah. Well, maybe they should have a new category. It's like best green screen.
Yeah, best use of green screen.
Best use of green screen. Costume design: Babylon, Black Panther, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, you got to give it to Elvis. You got to give it to Elvis. Who had better costumes than Elvis?
Well,
have you ever seen those giant collars he wore?
Well, I mean, they did do all the costumes pretty well. Yeah. There was one scene where they had him doing the concert, right? But they wanted to show that he was doing the same concert, in a lot of different places. And so without like he would get down his knee, start swinging his arm around and everything. But as they were zooming in on him and doing that, every 2 seconds they would cut to where he was doing that at the next concert. So it looked like he was doing it all at the same time in a flow, but every single one was a different outfit.
Yeah.
It was like white, and then yellow, then blue. Then it was a cool shot. I got it.
I bet that I love that sort of thing. I love it when I see like even normal people on like Instagram doing like the time where they're like moving through and their clothes change, but I like that kind of editing.
But so I mean, they had a lot of costumes in there. So I mean, Elvis, Black Panther had pretty cool costumes. I gotta admit, because you have, it's one of those superhero movies. They got to put a lot of effort into it. I know nothing about Babylon, and honestly, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, she was mostly wearing a frumpy outfit with a sweater. I mean, there was a lot of costumes, but they weren't anything because they were all normal people, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that was not really there. Makeup and hairstyling, All Quiet.
Don't care.
The Batman.
Oh yeah, the Batman.
Black Panther, Elvis, and the Whale. You kind of give it to Brendan Fraser's fat makeup. It does look pretty good.
I think that's really just fat though.
So then we get into.
They call that method acting. I don't know.
Yeah. So what'd you use to create that effect? Twinkies.
A lot of peanut butter.
A lot of Twinkies. Live action short film, documentary short film, animated short film. I don't care. Sound, All Quiet, Avatar, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun. I give it to Top Gun.
Yeah, Top Gun should have that.
Visual effects, All Quiet, Avatar, The Batman, Black Panther, and Top Gun. Again, I go with Top Gun because Avatar is we're just building in a computer.
Yeah.
They didn't put. I could see Everything Everywhere to a certain extent on effects. Most of that's due to editing than is actual effects. And Top Gun, I mean, they fucking flew in actual jets.
Yeah. That's why Top Gun should get it. There's real jets and shit.
Yeah. So that's the Oscar list. So
Lord help us. God help us. That's the best we have to choose from last year.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
When was the last really good year of film that we've had? I mean, just where it was like all year, it seemed like bangers. I can't even remember anymore, man.
I mean, we've talked about 1982, how amazing that was. I mean, there's just one classic after another that year. But as far as last, reasonably good year.
Last decade. Just a decade. Last decade.
Well, I mean, let's see. If you go the 90s had quite a bit of good stuff.
No.
Earlier part of the decade.
I meant this past decade. 2012 to...
Oh, the last 10 years?
Yeah.
No, not much. I mean, 2012 maybe, because you had Dark Knight Rises, you had Avengers, and there was some other stuff that year that was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
20
wasn't did James Bond Skyfall that year too?
Skyfall was that year. That was a very good one.
Yeah.
Let me just bring it up here real quick.
Like 2012 to about 2015, 16 had some pretty good runs in those years. Not necessarily all-time classics like stuff from the 80s, but some pretty good
it's a mix of shit though, it's like you have the Avengers, Dark Knight Rises. I'm not as sold on that one. I mean, it's good because it's Christopher Nolan and it's reasonably good, but it's got a lot of problems. Hunger Games, I kind of like the Hunger Games. I think the reason why is because it's such a anti-establishment type of film. That whole series is very based, if you think about it.
No, there's nothing based about a mega franchise raking in billions of dollars made by the same...
but I mean the story is.
I like
the story's based. I mean, you got Capital City living off the working class and not even the working class, just eating so much that they throw up on purpose and they wear all this ostentatious stuff and they're so disconnected from the world.
You mean current day? Current day, you mean?
Yeah, a little current day. Skyfall, but then you got Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2.
A classic.
It was all a dream.
Classic for the ages.
You had the first Amazing Spider-Man, where it wasn't good. Brave, that was the first Pixar misstep. The Hobbit, I mean, Jesus. Ted, Madagascar 3, Men in Black 3,
Ugh, I forgot.
The
Oh,
Lorax,
wait a minute.
commie nonsense.
Men in Black 3 was a masterpiece compared to Men in Black International, though. So I guess.
Yeah, that's true, but it wasn't that great.
Yeah, in retrospect, yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph, Snow White and the Huntsman, Taken 2, Electric Boogaloo, Lincoln, that's reasonably good. Prometheus, I mean,
did you see
piece of shit that was?
Speaking of Lincoln, did you see Razor Fist's hour-long dissertation about Lincoln?
I didn't. I'll have to go look for that.
You got to watch it. You got to watch it.
You did have Django Unchained that year.
That was a good movie. Woke as shit, but still a solid, fun, entertaining movie.
But he also had Battleship.
Oh yeah,
John Carter, Dark Shadows. Remember that Johnny Depp piece of shit?
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, John Carter just ruined what's his face's career, didn't it? Like that end. That was it for him. Like he's done nothing since then, has he?
You know what's sad is that movie is not that terrible, but it just cannot connect for some reason. I don't know if it's all the weird names or what it is, but it just doesn't work. Argo, that was good.
Yeah.
Magic Mike, I know you love that one.
Oh yeah, they're making a third one, right? I think there's a third one.
Yeah, I know. My wife is all over that.
Oh god.
The Total Recall remake. I can't even recall it.
We don't talk about that in this house.
Terrible. It's just not a lot here, and I mean nothing that I would call. I mean Avengers, yeah, but after that, and then you get to 2013, and by 2014 things are getting really woke.
Yeah.
You know, they started. Iron Man 3 was the big movie of 2013. You had Man of Steel, Frozen, which solid kids movie, but a kids movie. Star Trek Into Darkness, which was dog shit. Thor: The Dark World.
I kind of liked it. I'm not a Star Trek. Well, I'm not a Star Trek fan. It was a stupid action
That's why
movie
you liked
me.
it.
Yeah, it was a stupid action movie to me, and it was okay to me.
It's a garbage movie.
I'm sure it was for Star Trek. As far as Star Trek goes, I'm sure
that was the year that they did Star Trek Into Darkness, and then they did Amazing Spider-Man 2, and there was a couple of others where what's the guy's name? The guy that's running Star Trek now, the Kurtzman, Alex Kurtzman, where they did all this. Everything they do is magic blood. If you have magic blood, you remember Edge of Tomorrow was magic blood. That one was actually a very good movie, but everything was about magic blood for like 2 or 3 years for some reason.
You're right.
Spider-Man's magic blood would fix the Dane DeHaan, Harry Osborn, and Khan's magic blood brought Kirk back to life. What was it about that? I don't know. I never understood it. The Wolverine, G.I. Joe 2, Identity Thief. I have no idea why that made so much movie.
G.I. Joe 2 is worth watching just for the ninja mountaintop fight scene.
That's about it.
I'm not even joking. That is a superb action sequence.
Here's another one that made a ton of movie that to me is kind of an Avatar. It's better, but it's great to watch in theaters, especially in 3D. And after that, it's not very good. And that's Gravity.
Gravity was great in 3D in the theater. After that, it's no point. Yeah, it's just no.
It doesn't work. Yeah, there's nothing there. So, and then 2014. Now you did have Guardians and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Both were probably the pinnacle of.
That was the peak of Marvel. Yeah.
But then more Hobbit, that first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles remake, fucking terrible. 300 Rise of an Empire, which
dog shit movie.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow was great. I loved Edge of Tomorrow.
I didn't care for it that much.
The sequel to Dumb and Dumber, which I never liked Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
The Godzilla movie. I mean,
I liked Godzilla 2014 quite a bit myself.
Oh yeah, I love watching everybody watch Godzilla tear apart shit on the TVs they're watching. It was great.
Stop. I'm not
You
going to
know
hear
I'm
any
right.
No, you're not, because anybody that's watching any actual Japanese Godzilla movies knows that it's like that's the way they do it on that, and then at the end you get the shit.
2015 is when everything really went downhill to me. Because you had The Force Awakens came out.
When did the
You
sequel
had
to Sin City come out? Now you talk about a massive disappointment for me. That was a major disappointment because the first one, oh, I love the first one so much,
I
and
did too.
and then the second one, I was
2014.
I was so hyped for that, man, and I went watching. I was just like, I just got this sinking feeling in my stomach. I was like, I can't believe. First of all, my first thought was, has it just been too long between sequels? Which is probably true, but it just did not have the same quality. I don't know, man. I just, oh,
Well, the seeds were sown in 2015, I think, more than any other time when we had Jurassic World and Star Wars, The Force Awakens come out. It's like, oh no, the remakes that are kind of good for all the nostalgia, but it's getting not good, and you're introducing a lot of woke stuff. And then 2016 came out with Ghostbusters, 2016, the female Ghostbusters, and it's been shit since then.
That's when they leaned into the woke.
That's when they really leaned into it.
Yeah, that's
and
when
now,
they said,
now making movies is some sort of weird political nonsense statement.
Yeah, we're not about making movies and stories. We're pushing the message now. 24/7.
And then you add to that the election of Trump, which broke all their brains. And it's just been dog shit ever since.
Yeah. What do you say we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so. We haven't really had anybody. Well, we've had a few watchers today. That's good. Oh, Maddie.
Yeah.
One comment. Maddie, you guys are great. Thank you.
He came in to harass Matt, and Matt wasn't here, so he left.
Well, it's just two of us, so we aren't talking all over each other now, so that's good. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. Remember, we are lastmovieoutpost.com, your latest for all your movie news, streaming news, and everything good about film. We are the cool news now. You can reach me at Drunken Yoda 1. Also, you'll see Phil at PhobaPhil. And our main Twitter is, of course, at Movie Outpost. We are lastmovieoutpost.com. And we have stories each and every day. So come on over and keep yourself up on the latest of movie news and streaming news. Facebook /Last Movie Outpost and Instagram at Last Movie Outpost. I think I got it all.
I think that's it.
I think I did it. So thank you very much, Sean, for coming on. And for those of you who like the sports ball like I do, go Chiefs. We will see. I don't know who's going to be here next week. We'll just see how it goes.
I definitely won't be here because I've got a bunch of friends coming in from the other end of the state. We're going to camp out Saturday night into Sunday, so I won't be able to make it.
Fair enough. And I think, part of it is just January is just a shit time.
It's tough,
Not a
man.
lot coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll do the best we can. I think Ant-Man comes out in the middle of February and some other movies. So we'll definitely
That's an odd choice. I would have thought they'd save that to like May or something,
Maybe it's March. I don't know.
Or April.
I'm interested in it because I'm hearing like it feels like it's a return to form. At least that's what they're saying. Which would be nice.
Yeah.
They've got to do a course correction because Phase 4 almost wrecked everything they built. It did wreck everything they built.
Is it the same director as the last two Ant-Man?
Yeah.
He's been pretty solid. He's been pretty solid.
The Ant-Man movies haven't been like amazing, but they've also not been bad in any way. They're just smaller, fun movies, and I've kind of appreciated that.
They feel like very solid Phase 1 movies, which is good,
Yeah, I like them for what they are, and sometimes it's nice to have something that isn't, all about the big giant storyline or whatever. And boy, everything they did in Phase 4, there was one thing they did good in Phase 4, and that was No Way Home, and that was a Sony joint.
Yeah, that's the only. The
only good one.
That's the only one I watched. That's the only one I bothered to watch. And that's because Tobey Maguire came back in it and the villains and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a nostalgic, member berry nightmare, and it wasn't. It turned out really well, and I don't know why everything else. I mean, you look at the Eternals and some of these others; I mean, they're just so bad. And then the shows, just nothing was good. The only one that I actually marginally enjoyed was WandaVision because it had an interesting hook to start it out with, but once it turned, it just didn't do. It just didn't end very well.
I don't think I think having these shows in between movies is not helping them either.
No, it's over. It's over. It's overkill. It's too much, and I think people are just burnt out, and they've got to get back to basics, and they don't have to put out so much.
Right.
So we'll see. I am interested to see what happens with streaming services over the next couple of years. I feel like there's a reckoning coming.
Yeah, for sure.
So it may be something we talk about one day. All right. Well, thank you very much, Sean. And thank you very much, everyone, for watching or listening, or if you're listening to this on podcasts. Appreciate it. And we will see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.